just about to hang up. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we are going to be live once you call back, and we are
All
live.
right.
So we could go ahead and start off on the
Le
video.
queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Welcome to the shortest Jesse and David podcast interview. Make it count. You got 40 seconds.
We're live?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
live, Jesse.
Oh, snap. Good morning, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches,
Yeah.
whatever part of the world you're in. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah, I'm
This
gonna
is
give you.
David and Jesse Nava checking in. Before the time runs out, we will be huddling back.
Yeah, I'll call you back right now, Dave.
All right, for sure.
Keep them in suspense.
All right, all right. All right, so I'm just setting up really. I'm finishing setting up really quick because I forgot something. See here, shit.
This call is
Este
now
es
being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tellink.
Hello,
Hey.
hello.
What's up, my boy?
What up? What up,
What's up?
David?
Guess who's back? Back again.
What
Hello,
up,
James.
Jesse?
What's going on? Good morning.
Hey man, what's up? Hey, how you guys doing today? I want to go ahead and welcome Jesse and David to a brand new episode of You Have a Collect Call From, and today we're gonna be doing a Saturday edition, if you will.
Yep, Saturday
If
edition.
you will, and I hope that you will.
Yep, it's about well, it's almost 11 o'clock here on the West Coast, U.S. Close to 7 o'clock for all the viewers out there on the other side of the world, across the pond, if you will.
We just right here living this GTL lifestyle.
Yeah.
Some might think global tail link, but apparently California, there's a phrase called gym tan laundry.
What the? That's a
They tagging Californians with that.
gym, tent, and laundry. Yeah, I mean, I like it. That's our lifestyle, Jesse.
Yeah, that's the new metrosexual California lifestyle.
No.
Hey, you know what? The first time I heard GTL was, I mean, as far as the gym tan laundry would be Jersey Shore. Other than that, I mean, they used to always, stand for Global Tel Link.
Global tail link.
Yep, and it's almost good riddance to Global Talent.
Yep.
So for those of you out there that I hope are listening to us, Jesse and I, we're both serving life sentences in prison in California. I've been incarcerated for 15 years.
I just got here yesterday.
Yep. And he just woke up yesterday, realized, damn, I've been in for 24 years.
Yeah.
Jesse been in for 24 years. He had life without parole at first, but now he's serving 25 to life. So it's almost he's going to have an opportunity to go home at the end of the year. I'm serving 40 years to life. For we both took somebody's life a long time ago, and now we're here, paying the consequences of a chaotic lifestyle. We're cellies. We're in a prison cell right now. For those of you out there that don't know what cellies are, he's my roommate. That's what it is. So, what's up with you, James?
So I
Go
just wanted
ahead.
to confirm before we get into the topics for today. I want to make sure everybody could hear us loud and clear. Hey, thank you for that daily heart. I want to make sure that you guys could hear us on both platforms right now. We are streaming on YTN TT, So if you guys could go ahead and give me a thumbs up to make sure you guys could hear me loud and clear. You guys could hear David and Jesse loud and clear. We would highly
Yep.
appreciate that. And I'm just waiting for confirmation right now. I'm just. I thank you guys
Hey,
for the
they
daily
tri-
hearts.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No
they
problem.
trip out when you mention the platforms on there.
Sometimes, yeah, because they're like, what's YT or what's TT, and because some people don't, they can't piece it together. So but yeah, sometimes they be
I
tripping
got the
out.
same question.
Oh yeah, they be tripping out. Yeah, like TT or trip. If I mention YT, they could ban your account. So just to avoid any issues, uh, we said we got Dan Riggs. Dan Riggs writes, "What's up, David and Jesse?"
It's cracking.
Morning,
All right.
morning. Don't
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
don't know if you're a regular listener of the David and Jesse show, but
Yep.
we appreciate you being here.
Where are you calling from, Dan Riggs? Or where you tuning in from?
Where you hail from?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? Right now, you mentioned something, David, that you mentioned about GTO. You said good riddance, and as soon as you said that, I remembered that GTO lost the contract to Securus, and then another thing that just popped
Yep.
up in my mind was that I recently read on IG that supposedly the CDCR is trying to do away with physical mail. So what they want, from what I read, was that they want to start scanning the mail and providing you a copy of the mail, so you won't be getting the actual mail that you get sent in, kind of like the way they got it set up in the feds.
Yep.
You know, I got a buddy that's in the federal system right now, and anytime that I send them something, they always make a copy of it and they provide them a copy of that mail, so they don't give them the actual letter or card that you send anymore.
Yep.
What happens to the physical piece of mail?
So the physical, what they do is they scan it in, they archive it in their database, and then I'm assuming they shred it or get rid of it, unless it's like sprayed with some type of illegal substance. Because I'm guessing that's what they're trying to say, is that they want to combat the import of illegal
Gotcha.
substance into the system. But then you got to think about,
Yeah.
we both know, or everybody knows, that a lot of the stuff that comes in, it's brought in by the correctional officers or the staff, the free staff that come into the system. So they might be stopping it through the mail, but what happens with when other individuals bring it into the system?
They
Yeah.
have to bring robots up in here to monitor the place.
Yep.
That'll be the only way.
No, it's what it is. They find all these ingenious ways to try to combat stuff in prison, and I say ingenious, sarcastically, because no matter what they do, it always finds a way. It's like Jurassic Park, right? Life finds a way. They would have to eliminate physical contact with any people outside of the incarcerated population, like literally even the guards. They would have to have robots running us completely to eliminate that and giving us no contact with the outside world, and that's just not going to happen. So if they want to eliminate mail and find some other way to justify inadequacies within their own department, whatever. It's one more level of oppression. At the end of the day, those kinds of substances come in because of the overwhelming volume of mail. And so it comes in, it's human beings that are doing it. They don't scan everything. They don't have the dogs doing everything to check the mail. I'm sure they do it randomly or just, whatever their process is. And things get by, people get high. That's what it is.
I like that.
That's, yeah, things get by, people get high. And that's the smallest way that people are probably doing it. That's something that I guess that would actually cut off the spice heads. Leave room.
So.
Yeah, because the spice problem in here is insane. These dudes are freaking falling out and they look like they're going into seizures. It's crazy. So unfortunately, there is corruption in the department. They have some excellent people that are working, like in the we call them squad or IGI. Those guys are dedicated man crime fighters, and when people turn that are working here, when they turn to the dark side, they'll crack them eventually. But it's a system that it's going to constantly be. It's a rotation. So,
Yeah.
They will not stop. They will not stop the market of illicit substances in prison. But
make them more money.
yeah, the more exclusive you make it, the more inflation in the market you're gonna have.
Yep.
But
It's just going to get more expensive.
yeah, unfortunately for us, we won't be here much longer. You know, prison's not. The reality is, prison's gonna have a place for people that want to do dumb shit like that. They're gonna separate prison one way and the other. And the reality is, if you wanna, that's what you want to get mixed up in, they're gonna put you in a prison where they're gonna dedicate all their time and their effort to, to try to combat that stuff.
They shouldn't paint everything with one stroke.
No.
Look, fights are going to happen in prison. They're going to happen. I don't think that should be disqualifying for a person getting thrown off an ADPF yard. I definitely believe that there should be consequences for that. But I don't believe that should be justification to throw somebody back in a non-programming facility unless they really beat the crap out of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's an old-fashioned soccer game and, fisticuffs, happen in the middle of the field and, there's a response. It's no force used, no bombs, no pepper spray. It's just they get down on the first call, and it's just, look, people get heated. I'm not saying it's justifiable. That's not something Jesse and I would do, but I'm saying that I don't believe those two people are a threat to the safety and security of the new policies in CDCR. And I think that they have work to do. There should be anger management classes and whatnot. But I do believe, though, that if people are actively bringing in illegal substances, I believe if they're actively involved with gang activity, then there should be a place for those people. If they're two guys are gonna jump on one guy and just beat him freaking half to death in the yard, and they gotta use all kinds of force to get these guys off. And I think that I think they should go somewhere else. I don't think we should have to come to prison and think like, oh, well, we gotta join a gang, we gotta sell drugs to support ourselves, we gotta use cell phones because we can't talk to our families. I think that, I think that CDCR has to have an understanding of what's reasonable and rational policy making. 100%. Or the problem is just gonna spin out of control, just like it.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It's like you said, they can't paint everybody with the same brush. But who knows? We'll see what it looks like. Again, I won't be here. You won't be here much longer. So by the time prison actually changes into what they're hoping to see, I think it won't be bad. For some guys who are not ready to get their life together, prison will probably be miserable. The reality of it is prison should have been miserable from the get-go. If I would have been miserable in prison, then maybe I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did. Maybe I would have made a little more effort a little sooner, So right now they're giving little different creature comforts to reconnect us to humanity. My old train of thought when they first started was, oh, they want us to be comfortable here because they want us to stay here. That was my first thought when I was still struggling with that, us versus them. Like, oh, this is what they want. They're trying to secure job security. When that could be part of the truth, but I do believe that they're doing all these things because they know everybody here is going to return back to society at some time, and they don't want to send us back out to society worse off than we were when we walked in here, because they have a responsibility. CDCR has a responsibility. It's supposed to be Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So if they haven't done everything in their power to rehabilitate us, and it comes time to release us to the streets, long-term offenders and lifers like we are don't just get to be released. We have to absolutely commit to our transformation and do everything necessary to obtain our freedom one day. But a lot of the other people don't have to do that. They get released anyway. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to at least make an environment conducive to, you know, pro-social activities. You know, they're trying to make everybody that gets released out more, you know, to be more marketable, to have an education, to have, you know, better coping tools, a better understanding of emotional intelligence, financial literacy. That's why they're investing so much into us. And again, it's going to get back to that place where if people decide that they don't want that, they're going to have a place for them where they're not putting all that funding into, where they're not putting all those programs into, and they're going to have a place for people like you and I who absolutely want to take advantage of the opportunities that CDCR is presenting to us.
Yep. And you know, that's assuming that the viewers out there know what CDCR means. You know, that's it, you know, because you got people tuning in from all over the world listening to you right now, Jesse. California Departments of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
Yep. Remember when they first put the R behind?
I remember.
And
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
everybody was like, "Oh, this is some BS." They put an R on there to make themselves look good, you know, because there was nothing really being offered here, so it kind of, you know, had everybody. And plus, everybody was of that mind that this is us versus them. They're just here to punish us. Everybody was in denial for why we were here to begin with, so we couldn't understand what they were doing when they added the R to it. You know. You know, they were slow moving. They couldn't just completely wake up one day and say, "Hey, we're going to turn this into a rehabilitation center instead of a correction center," and just start changing overnight, because people weren't ready for that. And it's happening, though. It's evolving.
We'll give you a call back, James.
All right, cool. We'll be waiting. Thank you. Gracias a ti. All right. So I know you guys got a lot of questions. So first off, obviously I'm not streaming court right now because I'm on these phone calls, if you will. I will be streaming court later on, so just be on the lookout for the notification. Appreciate you guys dropping comments in the chat. And then also, let me see, what was it? Somebody asked a question. Roddy's asking, what's the change about today? Where's our studio, if you will? The studio, I am in the studio. This is just another angle of the studio. Unfortunately, my other computer is being used for something else right now, so I had to switch it up today. And let me go ahead and plug in this call.
This call is now
Esta
being
es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
And once again, thank you guys for the daily hearts. Highly appreciate that.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
What up?
What up?
Yep.
What up?
What's happening?
Who we got listening to us today, James?
Man, so we got, let me read out some of these comments right here. So we got Mark coming in from across the pond. He's coming in from Britain.
All right.
We got,
And shout out to Mark.
we got My Life's Peachy. And he writes, "Hi James," and they're "Hey James." And then we also got, we got Jenna. She writes, "Hey." We got Mercedes. She writes, "Hey James." Let me see what else do we got. We got Citizen. She writes, "Hi everyone." Let me see. Let me just go down these messages really quick. And then Mercedes writes, "I love Street Fighter," because I got the Street Fighter arcade right behind me right now as a backdrop. Let me see. Like I mentioned earlier on, we got Dan Riggs writes, "What's up, David and Jesse?" We got Bren.
Yep.
Or Bren, and she writes, "Good morning, afternoon, James and chat." We got Jenna. She writes, "Hey Jesse and David, it's good to hear from you guys."
Yep.
And let me see. You see, Mark wrote, "Hey James and everyone over the pond, if you will, almost 7 p.m. over here in Britain." We got Joey writes, "Yo."
Yep.
We got let me see. Sue writes, "Yeah, but what if it's a family picture?" So she's referring to, you know, getting the mail scanned in and whatnot when you write letters to your loved ones. I will say this about pictures, and this is just speaking for the federal system. So that buddy that I do got in the federal system, when I do send them pictures, they are allowed to receive pictures. I'm not sure if it'll remain the same in California, that'll be. I guess we have to wait and see. What the outcome of that is. But it would suck if they would scan your pictures and give you either a black and white copy or even a color copy because the colors are gonna be all distorted and it's not the same. Getting a copy opposed to something that your family members do. Take the time out of their day to print out and send to you.
I was thinking the same thing about pictures when you were mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's cool. In the Feds, that's how they do it. They give us the pictures. I guess it limits what could come in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a bad idea. Now, with the letters, the world has pretty much moved past snail mail anyway. So, I mean, yes, it would be, there are pen pals and things like that, but you guys out there, you guys don't write letters to each other. When's the last time you wrote a letter, James?
I'm always mailing stuff out, so I love sending stuff in the mail. I love that personal touch. As a matter of fact, I mailed a bunch of stickers out this week. Letters I haven't wrote in a while,
I'm not talking about.
but
That's what I'm saying. Like we know, James, we get stuff from you.
mm-hmm.
we do get random little. I want you guys out there to know, we have all kinds of cool little random at collect call symbols and
Collect call trinkets.
yeah. I'm looking at the wall right now. We have a giant at collect call picture hung up right now on our back wall. Yes, he loves to send us stuff like that, and we love getting them. But I'm talking about sitting down, James, getting your pen out, pushing the little clicker.
You know
Dear
what?
Jesse.
It would have to be the last time that I
Here?
actually the last time that I actually sat down and wrote something would have to be pre the Rona. So that would have to be maybe 2019 since I actually sat down and wrote anything, and that was because they didn't you guys didn't have the tablets or you couldn't message, so that was the only way that you could get to somebody was with pen and paper.
Dear Jesse, our last show was so good, and you put 3 O's on there and an exclamation point. Yeah, an upside down smiley face. LOL.
Yeah.
Laugh out loud.
Dear Darla.
Our viewers from across the pond, and then you add another S because you forgot 2 S's in across. No. Hey. No. But, hey, you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
So, because even in here, we do college.
Yeah.
They offer us college. They offer us college. You know that. Guys who have been on this podcast or have loved ones in the prison system, especially in California, know that we're getting opportunities to educate ourselves. So we have laptops. Jesse and I, we both have laptops. So I'm typing out. I type out all my papers, all my assignments, my homework assignments. We submit them online. There's a whole system in place. But I have my final. I have a final in English, and it's about U.S. intervention in foreign wars. Should the U.S. intervene when there's atrocities across the world? And I'm very opinionated on that. And I know we got people from other countries across the pond and feel strongly about that one way or the other. But this is a 1,000-word essay, which is nothing to us. I could knock out a 5,000-word essay without too many issues because I'm a good writer. That's what I do. But it's a 1,000-word essay. It's probably going to be, a few pages and maybe about 5 pages or something like that. But with this essay, I have to write the whole thing out in person in front of a teacher. I can't submit my essay online. I can't do any of that because it's an English class, so they got to make sure that I can structure an essay, which I know how to do all that stuff. But it's just, now I can't ramble. I love to ramble when it comes to essays, literally. I'll go on a freaking tangent. All the little extra stuff that I would put in there to, it's an argumentative essay, so I got to kind of hone in my point. And I equate intervention across the world is similar to if you're walking down the street and you see some guy walk by and he just pushes a little kid down. you know, and when the little kid gets up, he just keeps pushing them, and you're right there. You're just like, you got your bag of groceries, you know, maybe some celery sticking out the top, you know what I mean, and you're just trying to get on home, but you keep looking back at this dude just pushing on this little kid, you know, and it's like, man, you know, I got this Campbell's can right here in my...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I got this Campbell's can right here in my bag, and it turns out my left hand is free, and I could just fling it right at the guy's forehead. But that's how I envision it. It's like I can do something about it. I'm a pretty big dude too. This guy's pushing on this little kid right here. I don't think it's right. I feel like I'm going to intervene. And so that's how I view, you know, world conflict. And I know it's way deeper than that, you know. But if I was to throw the can, well, next to this little kid, there's a bunch of other little kids. And I want to fling this can at this guy who's pushing this kid down. But what if I miss this guy? And my Campbell's can lands right in the forehead of some other kid, you know? I'm like, damn, you know.
Put a dent in that kid's forehead.
Now I'm throwing cans right at will. I need to hit this guy. I've thrown 10 cans. My whole bag is empty, you know. I got the guy once, you know. I hit a bunch of kids with the cans, but look, the bully's down. He's not getting up, Jess.
Maybe you should have just thrown some grapes at him or your celery.
Yeah, so I like to put like analogies in there like that, you know, when I write. But so anyway, this goes to writing the paper. I went on a tangent.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here?
I have to write this all out. Hey,
I was watching the movie and I tuned into whatever you guys were talking about, and I was like, oh shit, we're beating on kids with cans.
Hey, I'm super heated right now, Jeff. Super heated.
Yeah, he's on fire, humming 100
I'm on
mile per hour fast.
Fire right now. Yeah, just thinking about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got one of those potato shooters, and I'm just launching cans at this guy. No, okay. So the end of my story, right? The end of my tangent is I have to write this all out, James. I got to sit down with a pen and paper in front of this teacher, and I have to write this whole essay out 1,000 words. Well, I don't like writing anymore. I just don't. I like typing. I like being able to, you know, write a bunch of stuff, and then if I don't like it, I could just erase it real quick. I can move stuff around. When you're writing this stuff out, you can't really do all that. Now, when you write a letter, you know, I guess you could just shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
But now I over-punctuate. I make sure my grammar's...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Oh, so that's where all this stemmed from the letter writing.
That's how my line works.
Oh, okay.
That's for this,
James is
from this letter.
James, we just gave you an English lesson. I hope that your next letter is absolutely on point.
I better not see one LMFAO.
Yeah.
I want to hear the laughter. So if you're going to laugh, I need to know that you're laughing on paper.
I need the old school smiley face with the ha, ha, ha.
Hey, I'm going to have to laugh in Spanish. I'm going to have to put J-A.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would just be a bunch of A's, huh?
Yeah.
Because the H is silent.
Yeah. Or it'd be like a fat dude laugh or a fat chick laugh.
Yeah. That's actual. The funny part is that's Jesse's actual laugh. I want you guys to know that she's not insulting anybody but himself.
Exactly. Deep down inside, I am a fat chick.
Laughing like a fat dude.
Hey, you guys are going. Not only is David going left. Hey, you're turning the wheel too. You guys are going. You guys are definitely digressing from the whole conversation.
Right.
What were we talking about again?
Talking about letter writing and bringing the letters into the taking the mail out of the prison system. And you had asked James something to the effect of when's the last time you wrote a letter, and then I kind of lost you guys there because I was doing something, and I came back. You were beating some kid over the head with a can of spaghetti and meatballs.
It's like, hey, Jesse came back in and he's like, Dave, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How many kids did you hit with Campbell's cans? Well, Jess, I got the bully, man.
Yeah.
He's down.
Hey, so what's up though, James? So what do you know about today, right? Since we're not going to be able to do any more letter writing, we're going to have a little bit of free time on our hands. So I'm going to be making some stir fry today, some experimental stir fry.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
don't know if you're ready for that.
I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready. But you know what? Next time we jump on a video visit, you should bring some of that out so the audience could see exactly what stir fry in prison looks like. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there curious.
Well, it looks like stir fry outside of prison, isn't it? What is stir fry? Do we even know what stir fry looks like outside of prison?
I honestly couldn't tell you what stir fry outside of prison looks like because I don't know if I ever heard the term till I came to prison. But no, I did hear Chinese stir fry and stuff like that out there. But I think it was stir fry out there had like peas and carrots and broccoli. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm just guessing right now. But
that sounds just like a standard bowl out of City Walk.
I've never been to City Walk, but did they even have City Walk when I was out there? No.
Yeah, City Walk's been
maybe.
around. It's been around since like for sure, like 99, 2000, 2001.
City
Walk
Walk?
when he went down.
I got busted in 01, so if it wasn't there in 01.
It was.
Okay.
Because I remember being back there in the 90s, being up there like in the mid 90s. So City Walk's been up there for a while.
See, when Jesse was out there though, he didn't do much shopping in front of the buildings. He was usually in the alley behind the shopping center, conducting some illicit business of his own. Hey, Jess, did you know that building that you just sold all those drugs in front of was an actual City Walk?
Oh, okay. I thought it looked familiar.
That was him. Oh, hey, I don't know who's on here. I don't know who's on the chat. I don't know if it's any regulars. I give a shout out to everybody across the pond, but I want you guys to know that we are in prison, Jesse and I. We are in recovery. We've been in recovery for a long time. We talk about things from the past.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Past, incidents in prison and whatnot, but we push a positive pro-social message. We joke around a lot. We are serving life sentences, but we have the possibility to go home, so they don't have the door shut for good on us. And we come in here and just have some fun with you guys. We're in a cell, so in a sense, you guys are an extension. You guys are like our roommates too. And this is just what we do in the cell. We just go off on tangents for hours on end, for years at a time.
I'm definitely gonna have to bring you some food out though, James. One time when I know we're gonna do video call, we can't do stir fry because stir fry has to be a orchestrated movement because you got to get broccoli from the kitchen and certain things, and then it's a whole process. But I can definitely bring you like some burritos or rice bowls or fish tacos or something.
We got to give you a call back. Yeah.
All right, for sure. Hey, so right now when they call back, I'm gonna go ahead and try to read off some of these messages over here. Let me see. Christina Lee wrote, depersonalizing things makes them feel more isolated. Joey, is he talking to a prisoner? Yes, I am. My apologies. I'm like super backed up on the messages over here. What's up, Taurus? How's it going? Hey, let me see. Never return. Thank you for the follow. Olivia, how do you pick someone to talk to in prison? So pretty much, I had a buddy that was at that prison about maybe 3 years ago, and I had mentioned to him that I wanted to start a YouTube channel where we would get into conversations with individuals that were in prison, and that's pretty much how I started. Word of mouth, if that makes any sense.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello. Agua.
Hello. Échale agua, por favor.
Drop one, flush one. Hey, So I got some message. I got some messages here. Let me go ahead and read some off before we continue. So like that, they know that we're not ignoring them, or I'm not ignoring them. Let me see. We got Crystal coming in. She writes, "Hey everyone." She's coming in from Ohio. We got Ashley coming in from Canada or Canada. We got Southside BK99. He's coming in from New York, and he writes, "What's up, gents?
Yep, that's the boy right there.
Hope all is well."
What's
We
up?
also
Go
got we got 90s YA baby. He writes, "What's up, fellas?
All right.
Palm Desert Food Court. Let me see, Martha's Kitchen, and then
Yep. I know exactly who that is.
yeah,
That's right. Send the boy mine.
Yep.
and then we got Ashley. She wants to know what your charges are. She just got in, but let me read out some of these other messages before you guys continue with that. Olivia wrote, Olivia wrote, "Winners don't do rugs," and that's referring to when you guys were talking about the rug epidemic that's going on in prison. Let me see,
Yeah. True.
The rug.
the
Talking
rugs,
about
the
Oh,
rugs
yeah.
with the D in front.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure.
We know what you mean.
All right.
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
like, what? What? You guys lost me. You guys lost me with this new wave talk.
Yeah, everybody's doing rugs right now. What are rugs?
This some new thing that I missed? Go ahead, though.
Imagine that Scooby Doo was on something and how he'd ask, he'd say, "Hey, what do you want, Scooby?" He's like, "Oops,
Roach. Go ahead, James.
See, we got Ashley. We got Ashley coming in from Australia. Let me see. We got
What's up?
We got Velma coming in from Puerto Rico. We got Kim coming in from Minnesota. Let me see. We got Savannah, and she writes, "Hey Dave, how you doing?" We got Matt
Hey.
or 41 Matt. Let me see, and he wants to know how is the food in prison. And then, hey, what's CHCF? They're asking me if I take calls from CHCF. Are you guys familiar with that?
CHC.
Yeah, CHCF.
CH. No, I was thinking Chowchilla.
Maybe
No,
it's
but
not a
that's
prison in
WF.
California.
Chowchilla Women's Facilities. I know it's that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any CHs.
No.
CIM is Chino, but they don't call them that. I'm not familiar with that acronym. We're both in prison, Jesse and I, and we're in prison for 187. So we both took somebody's life. Separate cases, different times. We both take responsibility for why we're in prison. We're not innocent by any means, and we live our life making amends to our victims, to other people that have been affected indirectly by our crimes. And we come onto this podcast to share our stories with you guys and to shed some insight onto what prison actually is and what it isn't, and why you should never come here, no matter where you are in the world. Incarceration is not the answer. Crime is not the answer. All we do is try to get our life on track so that we can return to society to be productive members of society if we're ever given the opportunity to go home.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell, fellas, ladies, gentlemen.
Thank you for
Australia.
And he's asking about prison foods. Prison food sucks. That's why we're going to try to make our own stir fry today with Chinese sausage, stir fry sauce, rice, noodle.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We make the best prison food.
Yeah, broccoli, bell
The
pepper,
best food in
onion.
prison.
Yeah. We do. We have to make something of our own because the food that we get here is horrible.
Yeah. And like this morning's breakfast, I slept through it. You know me, James. I don't sleep through breakfast. I just don't. I eat everything.
yeah.
And so I looked on the menu. They gave us a little menu, and it says bran cake with let's see what else it said. It didn't look like anything that I wanted to eat or get up for. Cornmeal mush. No. Let's see. That's Saturday. Pinto beans? No. What's today? Saturday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we missed that chicken patty today.
Not the chicken patty. Chicken patty. Damn.
I'm not sorry, honestly. But it was.
I knew something was wrong when I went to go pick up my cheese slices and there was peanut butter and jelly.
Hey, when it comes to
I had read the wrong menu.
when it comes to reading menus, I'm dyslexic. I don't know what it is. Like, and I don't feel that I'm actually dyslexic, but I am when I read menus. Maybe because I'm half asleep in the morning. We got this menu on the wall. We get one for the week, and I looked and it said bran cake, peanut butter, celery stick, and an apple, and a cheese slice for lunch.
Which would have been yesterday's menu.
That's what we got yesterday. I did eat bran cake yesterday, but in the morning I was so tired. I was so tired when I got up this morning because we get up at. I don't know, I've been popping up throughout the night, all hours of the night. So I popped up this morning at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, man, I'm done. I'm going back to sleep. Forget this. So I looked at the menu though, and it was wrong. We got this little chicken patty they've been giving us. That thing is a gem. It's delicious.
Well, we missed it today, Dave. Thanks a lot.
Right now, when I even mentioned that chicken patty and the fact that I had mistakenly missed it, that's the first time that Jesse really considered striking me down, right in my tracks.
We could have bought kitchen sandwiches from these kitchen workers had we known.
Yep.
And I usually check the menu. I should have known too because I did remember you said it was cheese slices, and when I looked, it was peanut butter and jelly. I was like, oh.
Jesse was about to send his pimp hand flying. That would have sucked. Full-blown backhand.
I started looking for my shoes with the goldfish in them. I said, I can't do this without the shoes on.
Yeah, you gotta have. What are they? Goldfish shoes?
Yeah.
What kind of pimping you got?
I got the aquarium shoes.
How did I miss your pimping?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Hey,
where are the goldfish at?
They're in the bottom of my shoes in the platforms.
They live in the platform?
Yeah, you ain't never.
I've never seen the goldfish platform pimp shoes, Jesse.
Oh, you tripping?
I know about the platform, but I'm not talking about the hollowed out platform with the goldfish.
Yep, nice little fish tank. That's how you know you've made it.
James, do you know about this?
I have no idea. I've never seen those before.
You never seen them in that movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker or something like that. I don't remember the movie, but...
Yeah, I seen them in the movie, but not in real life.
Yeah, no, they don't got them in real life.
Is it a real fish?
Shit. I don't know. It's just...
Poor fish, huh? Imagine if that's your lot in life.
Yeah. Hey, so, James, what's going on, though? James, what else you got?
Okay, hey, let me go ahead and read out some of these other messages, man, because I got a gang of messages right here. So, 90s YA baby writes, "Go Padres," and then let me see. Ashley wants to know how long have they been have they been in already, but before you answer that, let me see. Southside BK.
Ashley always has to wait now before we answer questions.
Yeah, because then once you guys talk,
don't answer.
Once you guys start, that's it. It's all over. We'll be 70 messages behind again.
Sorry, Ashley. Rules are rules.
Those are the rules.
Hold that thought.
Hey,
go ahead, James.
James.
Yeah.
So Southside BK is asking, "What up, James? How can we send them a package or send the boys a package?" So Southside BK, I mean, if you do something like that, I mean, it would be highly appreciated. It's not required, but it is highly appreciated. I did drop some links on the chat right there if you would like to do something like that, and I'll have Jesse.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I'll go ahead and have Jesse and David answer that because sometimes they won't they're only allowed to get receive a package once every quarter, so every 3 months.
Yeah.
And if a package comes in and they already received one, it'll get rejected. So Jesse and David will probably be the best individuals to answer that, so it doesn't mess up anything they got going on with their families or their loved ones.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so you could always, if you have questions for us about stuff like that, we do appreciate you, man. You do come out here, we recognize you, and you stand out because of how different our cultures are, cultures on the East Coast, you could call yourself that because, we assume that it stands for Brooklyn or something like that, but over here on the West Coast, we can't just openly go around saying that because it's disrespectful to some gang affiliations over here, and so they might want to retaliate on us. So, but anytime you guys you could communicate with us. We have tablets. You could jump on our tablet, or you can hit up James on slide into his DM or something like that. I don't know how that works.
It's going down into DM.
Yeah, slide into James' DM. But yeah, you could always hit us up, man. We got these GTL tablets. could look us up. If you need more information on how to contact us, you could. James will help you out.
And the package thing, like Jay says, it's a little complicated because we only get the one every quarter, which is every 3 months, and you got to kind of like make those count because you got to get all the things that you can't get here in prison, and usually it's specific items like cosmetic items, things that are necessary to get through the next 3 months, stuff that you can't get on store. But we do get a lot of stuff on store, so if ever you want to look out, James does have a link, like you said, for donations and stuff like that, and James will usually have it right there for us. So when it's time for us to go to store, if we do need him to order a package for us or something like that, or we can place the order with him, he's usually real consistent for something like that. So if anybody ever feels like looking out, again, it's not we don't ask for anything. It's not a necessary or how would you say it's not mandated or anything like that.
We do appreciate it,
but it's 100% appreciated. Yeah,
it's always needed. It's always appreciated. For Ashley, I've been incarcerated for 15 years, and Jesse's been incarcerated for 24 years. All right, James, we answered Ashley's question. Go on.
And thank you for offering, BK.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for the offer, man. That means a lot. Good looking out,
we feel like you guys are a part of our journey now. Everybody that comes out here regularly and spends this time with us, you guys are a part of what we got going on here. So we don't forget you guys.
90s YA's baby put something in the chat that I wasn't aware of. He writes, you can send money to a prepaid account for a package. Wow, I wasn't aware that's something that could be done.
Oh, Walking Horse.
Oh yeah, I think all of them does it now.
Really?
Yeah, you can. You can actually put an account there. But see, even when you do the prepaid account, if even that turns out to be a mess a lot of times, because once you mail out your package list to them, that's it. It doesn't matter what's in stock or what's not in stock, and you know how difficult it is dealing with a lot of these vendors where a lot of the times the stuff isn't in stock. So if you don't do it online or on the phone, you won't know ahead of time, like, okay, that's not in stock, well then let me replace it with this. Yeah. And you're only allowed to order 460 or 460 ounces.
Yeah.
30 pounds. It's got to be a 30-pound package. So you want to make every ounce count because you're trying to get as much as you can in the box for each quarter. And so when you do the prepaid packages, and once you mail your list out from here to them for the prepaid package, whatever's not on your list that's not in stock, which a lot of times a lot of things aren't in stock, you end up getting a half-empty package. And so I've seen people do it because, a lot of guys will have money and they don't really have anybody necessarily to take care of them or somebody reliable who can actually go online or go on the phone and place the order for them and find out right there, hey, this is not in stock, this coffee or this detergent or this cosmetic, whatever it may be is not in stock, so what do you want me to put? And which makes it a lot easier again, so you get to capitalize, on that one package. But yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right about the, like I said, I've seen guys that are like, shoot, I'd rather take a half-empty package than no package at all. And if I don't have anybody out there can order it for me, I do have a little money in my books. I'm going to order this package with what I have on my books.
That's the thing about being incarcerated for so long. We're basically at the mercy of the state, and it's difficult sometimes. We have family that look out for us. We got people that help us. We got, we have individuals like Southside BK that reach out to us from time to time. Very few.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
If we don't have that outside help, it's just whatever the prison feeds us. They'll make sure that we eat something, and I don't know how people do it. That's why I make taffy. To try to put some soups on the locker and stuff like that. But yeah, it's rough. You don't think that when you're out there committing crimes and you're doing all this crazy stuff and, representing for the neighborhood, and it's like, man, you don't know what your future is gonna hold for you if you get caught doing any of that stuff. Like you're screwed. Don't you get life?
No.
Like that. I don't understand how people who knew that would influence us like that. The older generation would be like, hey, homito, when you go to prison, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah. I hope you get your fill of food now. I hope you get your fill of food now because you're going to be hungry when you get to prison.
Hey, we'll get into more of that stuff. When we call back because it is ugly.
All right, for sure. All right. So right now when they call back, I'll go ahead and continue with some more comments right here. appreciate you guys. Like I said, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just really slow with these messages. So right now, I'll read up some more messages and we'll go ahead and continue. But I do appreciate every single one of you that's on here, whether you're listening, whether you're tapping the screen, whether you're just lurking, anything. As long as you're here and you're listening, and we appreciate you guys. All right, and for those of you that enjoy the courts, I'll be doing some courts later on in the evening.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Talent. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Talent.
Hello.
Okay.
So let me I'm gonna read up some more of these comments over here. So we got Olivia coming in from Florida. We got let me see. We got a comment from Code 3 Shoppy. She writes, "Keep your head up, sir." We got Ashley Dot 22 coming in from Australia. We got somebody coming in from Connecticut. And let me see. We got Judy, and she writes, "Hello, David from Pennsylvania." We got Mama Brad listening from Sac Town. Let me see. We got King underscore 420 100% Baltimore here. And let me see here.
Cool.
And then Mercedes writes, I hope they don't take the pictures away from them. Let me see. Mama Brad.
Me too.
Mama Brad wrote, "It's stupid to get scanned copies, but I kind of get it." And then let me see. The pictures means a lot to the. She wrote inmates, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace that with incarcerated individuals. And
yes.
And then I got a question for you guys. Crystal is asking, "Are you both married?"
Yes.
Yes, we're married to each other.
This is my vato. No.
That's my vato, eh?
No, we're married to women. We are married to women.
Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and let me see. So we got Princess Warrior. She writes, "Do they not have tablets in Cali?"
No, we got tablets. That's what we're on right now.
I'm calling for the tablet. They're about to switch them out, though. Hopefully they switch us for some better ones. Or better service, better applications.
Yep.
Because these tablets are actually pretty durable and the tablets themselves, big old tanks.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the durability of the.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
The thing is with the service is it goes out a lot on here, and so the video calls are cool. The video calls are cool the way it all works out. The phone calls, we could call back to back unlimited. I think the biggest problem with DTL is just the service. It cuts out a lot. There was a point in time where all the applications we couldn't. I would pay for movies, music, and the news, and as soon as I paid for it, it would cut out for the whole month, and they wouldn't reimburse us. And it was happening, man, they got me like 4 times. But when you're in prison, you kind of like roll the dice. It's either that, kind of buy it and hope it all works out, or not have anything to do in the sale for the month. So they got me a bunch of times, and I was like, man, I'm not buying this no more. And sure enough, I bought it again. It happened again.
Yeah, I heard that a few times. You get out here like, damn, they got me again.
Yeah.
Like you went off and did it.
I'll be on the top bunk, and then Jesse will just hear me like, fucking got me.
Hey, are you talking about the Stingray app?
Everything, yeah, the Stingray app, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a music lover. I love music. So Stingray, that's all we get. Yeah. We can't buy songs on it. Now, when the new ones come, they lost the contract, so JPay's going to come, which is a service called Securus or something.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that I can buy my own music. When it comes to music, I'm telling you, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, JPay used to have way better music service. Actually, their apps were way better all the way around. on the JPay tablets, the old ones that were on the pilot program. You could actually use your messenger and listen to music or play games at the same time. The only difference is you could only refresh your messages every 5 minutes. So you can't actually check your messages whenever you want. That's the only downside. But who knows? Maybe they've improved the application. But the actual and you had PowerPoint, you had Word, you had Excel on there, and it was more of like an actual email service than a text service. So I think that's going to be big, for at least for like school and just work and different little aspects of getting ourselves ready for society.
Yeah, you guys that are out there, you guys could email us. You guys can send us emails. I love getting emails. Just keep in mind we're both married. I'm not here to try to find a relationship or nothing like that. I love talking to people. I love coming on here and communicating with you guys all over the world. You guys bring a whole new perspective to our life, because for a long time, our life was these walls. That's it. We don't leave the yard. We're on a level 3 facility. We're in a cell right now, and I just want to keep emphasizing we're here because of a consequence of our own actions. We put ourselves in prison. We had opportunities to have, a different outcome for our life, but this is what happens when you commit crimes. Unfortunately, there's families out there that are going to be incomplete because of the destructive lifestyles that we were living before. And I think that's what's most important about us coming on here, because we want to talk to people out there that may be family members of somebody that's incarcerated, maybe dealing with guilt of crimes they've committed in the past. And we want to emphasize to everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what your family members done, they can move on with their lives. They can take responsibility for their actions, and they could change the course of their life. If I have to spend the rest of my life in prison, that's a consequence of my own actions, and I have to be okay with that. I have to understand that, hey, if I'm given a second chance, I don't deserve it. I have to do whatever I can to make sure that I'm ready to go back out in society so that I don't harm anybody else. But if that doesn't happen, then, hey, that's the way it is. So I think that's the message that we just want to put out there to the world. There's different circumstances out there for each of us. Whatever you're going through out there, it could be a lot worse. And we know the kids that we were some violent kids. We were both in the system when we were juveniles. We both came from destructive backgrounds, unstable homes, which contributed to our thought process, but it's by no means to blame for what we did. But we feel for you guys. We feel for your loved ones. I feel even more for the people that don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You guys that are still living that destructive lifestyle, that feel, well, I've already got 40 years in prison. That's what I got. I got 40 years to life in prison. So I could easily be like, well, I'm never getting out. That's it. That's curtains. But it doesn't have to be like that. I know guys that had life without parole, such as Jesse right here. This guy right here that's on the line with us had life without the possibility of parole. He was never going to go home. And through court, that changed. That was reduced to 25 years to life. He's been in for 24 years, so do the math. And he's eligible for parole at the end of this year. You never know what the future holds, so it's best that you don't do yourself any more unnecessary hardships and move forward.
James.
Yep. I was getting teary-eyed over here listening to David talking about how long you guys been in prison. It was breaking my heart.
Well, I hope we move the world.
Yeah.
Unbreak my heart.
Hold on, Jesse hits his note really good. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, but I mean that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like I've been in here 2.5 decades almost. And it's it's nothing compared to the time that I was supposed to do. I was originally sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and fortunately, I was given an opportunity to go back to court on an appeal, and I decided to represent myself, and I went to trial, and I did what two other attorneys in two previous trials were unable. Three attorneys in two previous trials were unable to do. So it's it's just a blessing, and so that's why I refuse to take for granted any more of my life and any more of the opportunities that are in front of me. It took me a while to come to that understanding of what I had been given. I wasn't quite ready for it. It was unexpected, and so it took me a while to adjust and get to a place where I was actually ready to do something other than, because when you come to prison and you're sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, something inside you is automatically broken. You have to disconnect something from your head and your heart. You go into autopilot, and you just living for the moment. Dave and I were talking about that, because I have a real good friend, who's out there. He's like a brother to me. We're just talking about it. I was telling him this morning, like, man, bro, like, I live my whole life 10 minutes at a time, like Ben Diesel, a quarter mile at a time.
Live my life a quarter mile a minute.
And so, and that's the reality of it, and so for me, everything that I do moving forward has to be goal-oriented and calculated. There has to, every minute, every hour, every day, things have to be accounted for. I can't waste any more of my life, because I've completely thrown my life away up until, about 5 years ago. And so I can't do that. I'm going to be 45 years old in August, and I've wasted so much of my life that I refuse to waste any more time with indecisiveness and lacking direction. So, I came back to prison after I got my life without the possibility taken off, and it took me a while, though. I wasn't ready. I was like, you don't just get to wake up and say, okay, well, humanity's back. Let's try to see what we can do with our life now, because it wasn't even about the sentence. I was already serving a life sentence in my head and my heart even before coming to prison on this one. I've been incarcerated in and out of institutions my whole life, and it was just a way of life for me. I would have done life on the installment plan if I wasn't given this life sentence. And it's a state of mind. And for me, it was like I was right where I knew I would be. All my homeboys were here, everybody, and it's just weird. I look back at that now, and it's like, man, how did I ever get to a freaking place that this is what I aspired for, prison. This is where I wanted to be. I wanted to get to prison, join a prison gang, be a violent, murderer, that's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it now, and this is only 5 years out of recovery. I can only imagine what it looks like to people out on the outside looking in who've never even been a part of this life. But how that's probably got to look to you guys, because I've lived this life. And I sit here and I think, and sometimes it can be even kind of depressing and, disappointing when I sit back and think about how much of my life I wasted and for what. I look at the life I've lived and I'm just like, really? Like, it's crazy to think that this was, to me, I was completely content with living and dying just like this. I was like, somebody told us a long time ago when we first started the channel, we were aspiring to be somebody in a world of nobodies.
Yep.
And that's 100%. That stuck with me
so bad.
With us,
yeah,
we use that all the time whenever
yep.
we're making references and conversing in self-help programs and programs that we run and coordinate, because everybody suffers from that in here. Everybody in prison, everybody that lives this lifestyle is trying to fill a void that it's unfillable. You can't. There's so much emptiness and so many people that live this life, and we're constantly trying to fill it with something else, whether power, whether control, whether drugs, whether toxic anger, just ignorance. So, and it's always something. You fill one hole, there's another one. You fill one hole, there's another one. And I was telling Dave, man, I can't believe that how much I've wasted in my time. I won't do it anymore. I won't waste any more of my life. Because now, so it took a few years. It took a few years after I got my life without taking off, and some adjustment period and some more trouble, absolutely, before I finally came to a place that was like, all right, you know what, it's time to be a man. I'm 39 years old, and I'm still acting the same way I did when I was 15.
Yep.
And here I am now. Today I'm 44. I'm going to be 45. And I feel that I'm finally, for once in my life, I can say I'm a man. Even though I'm not out there in society, really dealing with men responsibilities, taking care of my family and taking care of my life, and ensuring that I'm contributing to society. I know my time will come, and I will be doing that, because I'm doing that in a place where this is where society sends people to be thrown away. And so I feel that what I'm doing today is preparing me for out there even though this is just a fraction of what life is going to look like out there. I think we're preparing ourselves. I'm getting educated. Dave and I are going to start San Diego State for a bachelor's program in fall. We're going to be graduating. This.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
We're going to be graduating with our AAs this next semester, with actually several of them. So it'll be cool, and we're going to start a bachelor's program at San Diego State, which is something I never would have imagined.
Ever. We're going to be college graduates.
Yeah.
Bachelor's degrees. It's insane.
Yep. And so I ended up getting that sentence off, and now I'm doing 25 to life, and I got my 25.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Hey, we apologize for all these recordings that come on in Spanish. We have to do it in Spanish because James got dinged for some copyright thing or something like that. So.
James is trying to get us all sent to prison in El Salvador.
Yeah. And he labeled Tren de Agua.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a call back right now, James.
All right.
Give you a call back. Yeah.
All right, guys. So right now when they call back, I'll go ahead and continue with them. Damn, I'm like 75 messages behind. Hey, appreciate that daily heart. Let me see. Hey, Kimberly, if you're still in the chat, she's asking, James, did you send them stickers out yet? If you will. No. So I have not had the chance to mail out your stickers because they are international. I got to go to the post office and pick up some international stamps, if you will. So I'll have some time on Monday, so it'll be in the mail on Monday. And I'm not sure how long it'll take to get from here to there, but definitely be on the lookout. Anybody else, if you're in the U.S., they're in the mail.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
All right, what's up, my boy?
Okay, so let me see. I got a question from Savannah, and she's asking, this question is only for Dave. Does he believe self-defense will work as mellow defense?
Mellow defense. You're going to have to repeat that again.
Okay, so she writes, this question is only for Dave. Does he believe self-defense will work as mellow defense, MELO?
I don't know what she means by that.
I don't know what mellow defense is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Okay. All right.
And in what terms? In relation to
Legal term.
why I'm here?
No. She just wants to know if self-defense.
It's a mellow defense. Like I'm not sure if that's an acronym for something.
Let me look it up. I'll look it up. Let me look it up. Let me see.
Yeah. Sorry, Savannah.
Where's Savannah from? From what state? What country?
Savannah, Georgia.
No, Savannah
Savannah
the ghost.
Oh, Savannah from the Savannah. Isn't that like Africa or something?
Potentially.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. And the crazy part is my case. When I first got arrested for this, my defense was imperfect self-defense. For those of you that don't know anything about my history, my case is all over the internet. My name is David Isaac Lopez, so it comes up. I attempted to sell a firearm to somebody. We got into an argument over the price of the gun, and I ended up taking the individual's life. So during that time, I was in denial. I was thinking, well, I'm the victim here. There was an argument. I was provoked, and at the end of the day, I'm responsible for going into that scenario. And no matter what the argument was about, nothing was justifiable about what I did. It's what it was. I'm responsible. I'm solely responsible for what happened. The self-defense, I would have to be in imminent danger for that to be self-defense. And at the end of the day, I put myself in dangerous situations time after time after time. Um, I was the one that was armed. I'm the one that decided to use what I had. Therefore, I'm solely responsible. So for my specific situation, it wasn't self-defense. Family, I have family, I have friends that went to my trial, and they were, I had attorneys in my ear, and they were telling me things like, well, it was self-defense, it was you or him, and at the end of the day, I had to drown out all that madness. I had to take responsibility for what happened. So I don't know about mellow self-defense, what that would entail, like where you're just kind of just cool, calm, and collected, but you are in danger. Like, you know what? I'm going to use this, but I'm going to be cool about it. I'm going to be mellow. I don't think that'll fly in court.
Self-defense was my defense, but I used imperfect self-defense. I was unable to get it in the end.
That just means so perfect self-defense was that your life was in imminent danger, and the jury looks at it like you really had no choice. It was just, if you didn't do it, you were going to die.
Right.
Imperfect self-defense is if you believe, though, that you had no other choice, and it was a reasonable belief, but you were still wrong.
Yeah, you created the situation that puts your life in danger. You still have
the intent wasn't malicious. It wasn't with malice, but it was still wrong. That's the difference between a manslaughter and an actual. We can't say the M word on TikTok because we get booted off for saying that. But the difference between the degree of culpability, it lies in intent, malice. Mine, they said
malice, that. Forethought,
yeah, I got second degree. I didn't get first degree. So first degree, 187, or the M word, it starts with.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It starts with premeditation. So if you premeditate something, like you thought it out beforehand, you planned it or anything, that's first degree. That's the more serious of those. Second degree means that you weren't justified in what you did at all. Everything about it was wrong, but it wasn't with premeditation. It still had malice aforethought. You're going to get, it's less, you get less time, but it's still serious. And then the one that doesn't carry life is actual manslaughter, which in some states call it third degree. I've heard it called third degree before. That one carries 11 years generally max. My charge carried 15 to life, which means that I have to serve 15 years before I'm eligible for parole, and I'm already there. But unfortunately, because I did use a weapon during the crime, I used a firearm, I got a consecutive 25 to year life enhancement, a sentencing enhancement attached to it. That's how I got 40 years to life.
You know what?
During the
sorry to interject here, but a lot of the times, you know how we get people in from other countries now. They trip out on how they stack charges. You know, you get one for for taking the life, then you get another one for the gun enhancement, then you get the other one for gang enhancement.
Gang.
So they trip out on that the way how the cards are stacked against us when we get into the system, how unfair it is.
Yeah, I got more time for using a firearm, almost by double than the actual crime. I got 25 to life for just using a firearm, and I only got 15 to life for taking the person's life. 30 years would have been double. But yeah, so I ended up with 40 years. So technically, I have 2 life sentences, but realistically, I only have to serve. Once my time runs out, I serve whatever I end up with. It's just going to be one board hearing. Fortunately, things have changed. So when I'm in for 21 years, I get an opportunity to go to board. That'll be at the earliest will be 2031.
Let me ask you.
Things stand.
Let me ask you guys. How long are you guys going to be able to be on the phone today?
I could be on the phone whenever. it doesn't really matter to me. Jesse has some things he's got to do in a little bit.
Okay.
So whenever he ducks out, I don't know.
Okay.
What do you got going on, James?
No, so I'm just
I could
asking
spend the whole day with you guys.
so I could start knocking out some of these questions and comments because shit, I'm like super behind on the comments. So I want to make sure I get
Let's
to.
get the comments and then the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see. So Mercedes wrote, the support is real, love it. Let me see. Barbie G59 wrote. He said trinkets, laughing out loud. Let me see.
Said what?
He said trinkets. I think David said trinkets earlier a while back when he was talking about something.
That's funny.
Let me see. We got Code 3 Shoppy. She wrote, he's funny as hell. Let me see. We got HD. She wrote, oh damn, what's up, Vato? You're on. Is he day trading? Let me see here. Angela, thank you for the follow. Highly appreciate that. My Life Speechy writes, I like listening to these guys.
That's cool. We like talking with you guys too. I'm glad you guys get to enjoy what we talk about. We try not to be so serious all the time. We do tackle serious topics, but we're a couple goofballs, Jesse and I, especially because we've known each other since we were teenagers. We've known each other out from society. We know each other from the juvenile system, the adult system, and now we're roommates. So I'm very fortunate to have somebody here that's like a brother to me, with me. So we're like this with a lot of people on the yard, but I'm way more comfortable having my boy right here. Sometimes I get super serio.
Serio?
I'll be. Oh, you should hear my serio voice. I'll be like, hey, what's up, Holmes? What's up? I talk like I'm in an old Cholo movie from the 80s.
You talk like you're in colors?
James,
I do like I'm in colors.
I'm a homegirl two-pack, man. This is my barrio.
Jesse's always a Chola in his depictions. Hey, go ahead, keep going. Let me go off on a tangent. You guys got to keep me in check. Go ahead.
So they're asking me what time am I going to stream court. So I probably won't be on to the court till sometime in the evening. I'm not exactly sure what time. Let me see. They also want to know what you guys are in prison for. So we'll go ahead and cover that a little bit later on because I know we touched on it when you guys when we really originally jumped on. Michigan Mama's asking me if I'm doing court in Florida today. I actually woke up late today, so there won't be any court in Florida today. I overslept. I was short on sleep. Let me see. Did you send it to him, James? I'm not sure what you're referring to, HD. But if you could let me know what you mean. Let me see. Mary Bell, she's a longtime supporter. She writes, "Hey, what's up? Say hi to the boys. How are they doing?"
Cool. Doing all right.
Yep, we send ours, Mary Bell. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, knocked down like usual, but we're all right. All right, what else you got? We don't want to miss out. We don't want to miss any of your guys' comments.
Let me see. And then Mercedes wrote, "No wonder he's correcting your letter, laughing out loud. He's gotten better at it." And then HD wrote, HD started laughing in Spanish.
LMFAO.
No, HD started laughing in Spanish.
Oh, all
J-A-J.
A's. Yeah, J-A-J-A. That's funny.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, Mama Brad said he sounded like the Count. Damn, she says you sound like. And then Mercedes put Dracula laughing out loud, and Mama Brad put I thought the same thing.
Dracula.
Oh man. And then let me see. And I appreciate you guys. We're about to be hitting 20,000 taps on the screen. So once we hit 20, we hit the FYPA. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. We just hit 20,000 hearts on the screen. So appreciate everybody that's tapping the screens. If you're not tapping or if you're napping, I forget what it was. If you're tapping, you must be. I forget. I haven't used it in a while. But you guys know what I'm trying to say. You guys are tapping.
If you're not tapping, that means you're napping.
Is that the same as if it gets by, they get high? I don't know. Okay.
Let me see.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So HD writes, does he feel like Martha Stewart in there? And then Mercedes writes, inmates are really creative. tell him we're excited for him cooking for the cooking show. Damn, we might be starting a cooking show from the prison day room.
Oh, it's going down.
Yep.
It's going down. I don't know if they know Blue Joe, but Joe spent 27 years in here, and he actually cooks pretty decent. And he told me after going out there, after spending 27 years eating prison food, and he was like, look, man, he goes, I've eaten at a bunch of places out here. There's a lot of good places. He goes, but the reality of it is, we make better rice bowls and burritos than anybody out here. So, I don't know what.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
But I've actually made tamales too in here for a staff member, and they were actually like, man, these things are fire. Like, they're gas. They're better than a lot of the tamales I've eaten out here. So I think that we do have a pretty firm chef hand up in here. So that would be cool to actually make food for you guys on video. Unfortunately, we can't actually make it out there because of the way the kiosks and the docks are set up, and you really can't cook in the day room. You have to cook in your cell. Like today, I'm going to make stir fry. I'm going to set up the hot plates. We got a grill. You know, they make your locker into a grill, and you heat up the locker and you cook the food right there on top of the.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
But yeah, I'm actually going to experiment today with the stir fry. I haven't actually cooked stir fry like this in here, so I've cooked it in the kitchen, and I've cooked it on a George Foreman grill before in prison, but I haven't actually cooked it in the cell like this. So I'm actually gonna look forward to it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be something new. I've been wanting stir fry for like the last year and a half, 2 years, and so now it's going down.
And that's the crazy part, though. You know, we emphasize we don't know what stir fry actually is. It might not even be a term used out there. Do they call it stir fry out there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Stir fry.
Yeah.
That's why you see that sauce that I have right there. Says stir fry sauce on it. Kung Pao stir fry sauce.
It's about to cut off.
The one that you were actually pulling. Yeah, we're gonna call you back.
Oh, all right. Call back on it.
All right. So for those of you that are just coming in right now, we're currently on a collect call from David and Jesse, which are currently incarcerated in the state of California, the CDCR, and they're currently located at a prison called Centinela State Prison, which is in the Imperial Valley, or in El Valle Imperial, which would conveniently be located right next to the Mexican border, 2 hours away from San Diego. I've done that drive a few times, and hopefully I'll be doing that drive a few more times this year. I am anticipating 4 individuals, gaining their freedom this year, so I'm gonna be there recording those first moments. So definitely be on the lookout.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Talent. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, gracias por utilizar Global Talent.
Hello.
What's up, James?
All
Yeah.
right.
So I asked about the stir fry. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, and then I'll read off some of the comments.
No, I asked about the stir fry because we're isolated from the world, and so we got to kind of keep up on what's said out there. And I was thinking of a funny example about we're so far removed, like I was saying, slide into your DMs earlier, but I was like, man, that could mean something to, what I'm saying? And then I was thinking, well, I don't know why Jesse got arrested. All he said is he wanted to Netflix and chill with his employees. He was just talking about putting on a movie and drinking some Kool-Aid or something, but he's right there on the docket next to Puff Daddy. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, so let me see. We got a comment from Mark DT, and he writes, "I'm a regular from the UK." Hey, thank you, Mark. Appreciate Mark.
Right.
He's in here constantly with the court hearings and the border parole hearings. So appreciate every single one of you that
cool.
Spend time with us. Whatever we're streaming.
Yeah.
We also got a comment from Sue. She writes, "Hello from upstate Nueva York, or New York, if you will."
That's cool.
Let me see.
Cool.
See, Mama Brat wrote.
What's that, like the Hamptons?
Uh, maybe we might be. Let me see. Mercedes. Let me see. Mama Brat wrote at Mercedes. I follow a guy that does sell cooking skits. I forget his name though. Mercedes writes. I hope y'all get a chance to hopefully get out one day. Mark wrote. He sounds like a nice guy. You do. You guys really true sound like some really nice fellas there.
Who we are now. We're generally nice people now. Right? Who would have known? Who would have thought?
And,
There's a lot of work not being nice.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We got a
I
comment
think
from
that's what's embarrassing.
that you guys are nice guys.
Go ahead. No, that we were so stupid for so long.
Hey, at least
it's embarrassing.
at least
the
you
longer we're clean, the worse the embarrassment gets. Go ahead.
at least you guys snapped out of it, because imagine you guys are 60, 65, 70 years old, and you guys are still in the same thing, the same way you guys were, thinking the same way you guys were when you guys were children or teenagers. Then I mean, at least you guys snapped
We
out
know
of it.
people like that.
Yeah, and I know, and that's why I say what I just said, because some people never snap out of it.
No.
So they stay on the same thing. Let me see. So
You know a guy that just got beat up the other day, and he was 65 years old, still talking smack. Got his ass handed to him.
Hey, the dude that beat him, did he catch a elderly abuse case?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna continue with the comments here. So Hope Marie writes, "Hey guys, hope everything is doing. I hope everyone is doing well." Mark DT wrote, "Sounds like a nice guy. Nice guy." Let me see. Sounds good, writes Sue. Let me see. 154 writes, "Hey, what's up, James? Hey, how's it going? I appreciate you guys tapping into the chat." Let me see. Matt wants to know what my friend did, and he's referring to you guys. So we'll go ahead and touch on that in a bit, because they already covered it when. So I'm gonna give you guys a heads up. The majority of people that do come on here, I would say about a good 80% that do come on these phone calls with me, they've taken somebody's life. So most likely, if you guys ever catch me in the future, it's probably gonna be somebody that took somebody's life. It's not the way that it was planned, but that there is a lot of individuals like Jesse and David in prison with very lengthy sentences. And one of the reasons that Jesse and David do come on is just because they've changed. They saw the errors in their ways, and I feel them sharing their stories would provide a good public service, if you want. Hopefully, they're able to help other people that are going through the same things, or people that are thinking about going that path. It'll shed some light into what their future holds if they do continue down the path that they're headed.
Well, you know why that happens is, okay, so we generally refer you guys to call in. And our social circle in recovery is mainly lifers, guys who have been in prison for decades, guys who are here for taking somebody's life. And we generally associate with people like that because of where they are in their recovery. And it just so happens that the guys that have been in prison for that long are the guys that are doing the most good on these yards. There's people, the guys who are here for short sentences, they're not really doing stuff like that. They're out there using drugs, they're out there fighting and doing all kinds, because they don't have the same consequences for their choices that we do. Like, realistically, we can't be in here doing all that stuff because we know we'll die in prison. That's just what it is. We can't, if we get upset, everybody gets upset. Everybody gets upset. But we have to make sure that when we get upset, we learn to de-escalate ourselves in a healthy way, because we don't want to victimize anybody else, and we sure as hell don't want to die in prison. So it's two-way right there. These guys, they can get into a fight if they're clean for, 90 days, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, they're clean for 90 days. They don't get into any fights or any write-ups for 90 days. They give them their time back, and they go home as if nothing happened. We get into a fight, the border's gonna hold us over for 5 more years. That's pretty much for every Wolfie team, every write-up.
5 years is a long time. Shit, I wouldn't want to spend a
Yeah.
a day, let alone 5 years extra if that could have been avoided. Thank you for that dumpster fire. Somebody put a
Yep.
dumpster fire on the screen there. I'm going to continue
Yep.
down the questions over here. Let me see. Code 3 writes, "Hey from New York. Hold your head." I'm guessing maybe head up high. That's that message. That's where it ended. HD Road. He's like, yeah, no, they do stuff harder. We don't clean rugs. Let me see. Molly writes, I love them. They're so funny. Mama Brad writes, so you remember earlier on I was asking you guys what if you guys knew what CHCF stood for, and she says that it's in
Yeah.
Stockton, and it stands for California Healthcare Facility.
Oh, that's
a medical facility. Yeah, nobody goes there unless you're dying.
yeah. We knew a guy here that he was endorsed there, but that's not a common prison that we really hear about. I barely heard about it for the first time really here. I didn't even know it existed. I thought people went when they were really sick. I thought they went to what's that place, Jess?
CMC, Vacaville.
I thought they went to CMC, to Vacaville, or maybe Donovan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they even had a place specifically, which is a medical hospital prison.
Yeah, that's like super extreme circumstances.
Yeah.
So,
No, I know guys. I mean, what's more extreme than being on your deathbed, right? And I know guys that still don't go there.
Yeah.
The guys die here at the institution all the time. CTC. They have a hospital in the prison, which is called CTC, and
Central Health.
yeah, people go over there and they don't come out. Go ahead, James.
Let me see. And then we got a question from HD. She says, what affected their decisions, or do they not want to talk about it? But before you answer that question, let me read off some more comments. 4-1 Matt wrote, when Dave gets out, he should start his own YT and TT about prison. Mark writes, Mark DT, he sounds like a good guy. Mama Brad writes, that's why they cook in their cells laughing out loud. And okay, and if you guys want to answer HD's question, which was what affected their decisions, or did they not, or do they not want to talk about it?
Decisions for what? To commit crimes or for change?
I think, well, maybe shedding a light on both aspects of it.
Jesse?
Well, first, I guess we should talk about what brought us to prison. And in a nutshell, it was horrible choices because of a very low self-concept and a very low sense of self-worth, very low self-esteem. And because of that, we sought outward validation and acceptance and praise from a bunch of maladaptive elements. You know, bad people, bad environments, bad things, drugs, gangs. You know, all those things ultimately is what filled the holes inside of us because of experiences that we had endured as young kids, that shaped our perspective of the world. And so ultimately we made a lifetime of bad choices and ended up, taking someone's life that landed us here in prison. We also, for years and years and years in custody, continued with that same kind of behavior, violence, gangs, drugs, criminal activity. For me, it wasn't until I just got to a place where I was tired of hurting the people who I knew cared about me. I was tired of living I wasn't even having fun anymore. For a long time, I didn't realize what I was doing. I just was living the life that I knew how to live. But it got to a point where it just became tiring, where it's like, man, is this all that there is? And for me, the biggest thing was realizing that I was hurting people. I have daughters that are out there that are grown. I have a wife, I have a family out there that is just kind of like, what am I doing to make things better for them? Like, I signed up for this. I agreed to do this time. I knew that I would be doing life in prison because I've been carrying a gun since I was 12 years old.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I've been a violent gang member since I was 12 years old, 13 years old, and so I knew that this was the end result of what I was doing because that's what everybody else was, but I didn't mind. It was just a natural progression for the way things were working. But after being in prison for 18, 19 years and having people doing this time with me, and constantly hearing them, hey, realize, like, calling me on my shit, and seeing my daughters, the way I'm hurting my daughters, stuff like that. It started to make me realize, like, what am I doing? These choices, okay, that's cool if you want to shit in your own bed, but the choices that you're making are affecting so many other people, not just you. And you can't sit here and hang up the phone and tell your kids, hey, I love you, and turn around and make no efforts to get back to them. You can't tell your wife, hey, I love you, but I'm not willing to make any sacrifices to make this time that you're doing with me any easier. So it was things like that started to weigh heavy on me, and I found myself sitting in the hole for drug dealing in prison, for distribution of narcotics in prison, and I was doing the same thing. Like, I was 39 years old, and I was just like, man, what am I doing? Like, this, I can't do this anymore. You get to a breaking point, and a lot of people say you got to get to a rock bottom. For me, it was an emotional rock bottom. Like, I couldn't justify my bullshit anymore when there was a conflict going on inside me about the things that I was doing and how it was affecting those. For me, it was okay. I'm not tripping. This is what I'm doing. But when I'm hurting people who have shown that they love me, people who don't deserve this, like my kids, they didn't sign up for this. There's nothing in them. I brought them into this life, and I left them out there all by themselves. I've been incarcerated 24 years. My youngest kid is 24 years old. So it's basically like they've been there their whole life by themselves, and I'm not making any effort to become a better person for them or anything like that. And so that's what motivated me. In the end, in the process of my change, I started to realize even more than that. Not only did I hurt the people who love me, I hurt so many other people. I hadn't even began to think about how I had actually really hurt the man whose life I took, how I hurt his family, how I've hurt society, how I've hurt so many other people along the way. I had to begin to learn to start to feel by realizing that I was hurting the people who love me. And when I started to reconnect myself with humanity, because I was desensitized to all of it. None of this meant anything. This was a way of life, and everybody around me was living the same life. But again, those family members who don't live this life and didn't sign up for that, when they're constantly crying and they're constantly frustrated and they're dealing with my bullshit, I had to stop and say, okay, hold on. What am I doing? What's going on here? And you start to you have to question, the way you see things, the way you feel, the way you believe about things. And when you start asking those questions, it's hard. It becomes hard because that's all you know. That's all you believe. That's all I believed in. I believed in being a gang member. I believed in being violent. I believed in having...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I believed in those things because I felt that they defied me, and I felt that that's what defined me, And so when I started questioning myself on a lot of that stuff, I started to be like, wow, man, it started to make me feel more like crap, and it gave me the strength to say, you know what, I have to have courage. I got to make some changes. And again, it wasn't easy. And along the way, I started to realize even more. I dug deeper and realized the impact and the magnitude of how many people I really hurt, not just people close to me, but how many people in this world that I had been hurting. I'm going to call you back, James.
All right, for sure. All right. So once again, man, I appreciate you guys, hanging in there, and I am slowly inching away, going through these comments and questions. Just bear with us here, if you will. Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult, when we're on these calls, and I try not to interrupt them when they do speak. So, we'll go through as many of these comments or questions as humanly possible. That's why I'm not sure how many of you guys were on. A few weeks ago, I had them on a video visit, and they were able to read the questions on the screen, which was pretty cool. Let me see here.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James.
David.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So that's what it was for me. That's what kind of like gave me the strength to start making some changes. I initially started my change just because I didn't want to hurt the people who who loved me and who I loved. I just loved in my own weird, selfish way, but I couldn't do that anymore. It wasn't fair to them. I couldn't keep, I couldn't keep doing what I was doing, and it was a scary thing. I didn't know what change was going to look like. I didn't know what transformation was going to look like, but I knew that I had to do something different other than what I had been doing my whole life. And if you take baby steps, again, you start challenging your beliefs, you start challenging your perspectives. And for me, because I had a lifetime of examples of what shit looked like when I did things my way, all I had to do was start doing the opposite of what I normally thought and felt and did. And that kind of like gave me a little compass, so it's like, all right, well, I'm feeling like this right now. Well, you know what, maybe I should, let me do the opposite of what my mind is telling me to do right now. And ultimately I started getting myself involved in programs and stuff like that helped clarify what I was doing and help me begin to understand exactly what the transformation was going to look like, what recovery was going to look like. I had to get sober. I had to stop messing around, stop drinking, stop getting high, all that stuff, all the things that were convoluting my mind so that I couldn't truly be able to comprehend and make choices for myself in a way that was going to be, proactive. And again, I figured out how I was hurting people, and it started to feel like shit, and it gave me motivation, like that empathy and that remorse for the things that I had done, the families that I've harmed, the lives that I've taken, that I've destroyed. It started to feel some kind of way. It started to weigh heavy on me, and so I told myself I never want to be that person again. I'm going to do everything in my power not to be that kind of person, no matter what it is, by all costs, and I'm gonna. And so for the last 5 years, I've done everything I can to unravel 30 years of just a completely distorted perspective, on life, and that's, for me, that's how it worked. And along the way, I came to realize that not only can I free myself mentally and emotionally from prison, but I can actually free myself physically from prison. I can actually get out of prison one day, and what's the best way to show my family that I love them than by doing everything I have to do in order to get out of prison and coming home to them so that I can actually be there with them physically and try to live a little bit of decent life with them. And so for me, that's the end goal. It wasn't my initial goal for change, but it's the end goal now, is to get back to my family and get back out there and so yeah, that's how change looked like. That's what it looked like, and that's what motivates me and motivated me is remorse and empathy and understanding for what I've done to other people and for what I want to do and who I want to be, to society and to my family. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something, guys, because in the past it's been some time since we've actually taken any calls. Would you guys be interested if anybody wanted to connect with us right now for them to jump on?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. We encourage that 100%.
Okay, so if you're on our TT and you guys would like to ask these gentlemen some questions, I'll open up the lines for anybody that's currently subscribed to us. I'll go ahead and they'll go ahead and get priority on that. So just drop a comment in the chat if you guys do want to jump on and ask them something, and I'll go ahead and pull you guys in, and you guys go ask them a few questions, and then we could go ahead and switch it up. I got about
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I got one more call after this in me. I do got some other prior commitments I got to attend to. But, yeah, so if anybody wants to jump on and ask any questions, just drop a comment, and I'll bring you guys on. And you guys could go ahead and conversate with these gentlemen for a few minutes and pick their brains or ask them any questions that you guys, want to ask them. So let me check the comments to check. HD, you want to jump on, HD? If you do, I'll pull you in. Let me see. They put up.
Come on down to the Price is Right, HD.
Let me see here.
It's funny because there's like two people on this yard they call HD. So when I hear that name, I think of him. The one in my building.
Let me see here.
James says we have one more call. He's got some prior engagements.
I'm trying to pull you in, but
hey, James.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? What did we kind of do?
HD,
get a call
send
from
me
HD?
an invite. HD. Oh, and we got we got Austin Blue in the chat. He says enjoying the show.
What's up? What's up, Blue?
What's up, Dougie?
Boy right there.
Yeah.
Send our love to the boy. That's the one I was talking about. For those of you guys who don't know, that's the one I said we make better burritos and rice bowls in here.
Yep. The boy right there.
That's coming firsthand from a man who's eating this food for 27 years, and now he's out there eating, getting his grub on.
HD.
Yep. Wow in the world.
Are you in there, HD?
What's up?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Say so the line is yours.
What's up,
Okay,
HD?
so
What's
I
up,
was the
homie? How you doing?
one. What's up? I was the one that asked y'all that question last that you all were answering on. And I want to know, I'm more scared about this new generation that's coming up right now because it's being more glorified, I feel like. How do we stop that? And it's getting nastier. I feel like it's getting more ruthless.
It is, and that's unfortunate, and we talk about that in here all the time because we work with at-risk youth in here, and I think the way that we approach that is we just try to show the realities of what the consequences of those actions really are. You know, you will get caught. This is a world that everybody's got a phone, everybody's recording things. So if people are out there and they're taking people's lives, they're behaving like animals, there's a place for them, and they're not going to like what it looks like. We know a lot of kids that came in here young. Jesse committed his crime at 17 years old. And so all we can do is kind of show, we have to stop showing prison or gang lifestyles as glorious, glorified. We have to. Society has to do that.
Well, what it is, too, though, a big thing about it, which she's 100% right, is we both know that it's getting way more reckless and way more ruthless than it was when we were growing up and doing our thing. But what it is, though, is it's a culture that's socializing this stuff. Like, everything is all about a follow. Everything is all about a like. We were impulsive growing up, but now the impulse is on a whole nother level. Like, so because it's like, you see people are dying, falling off a cliff, trying to get a picture to get a like, or trying to do some crazy shit hanging out of a car trying to get a like. So the reality of it is, if your homeboys and these dudes are on these social media platforms and they're saying, hey, if you're doing this, if you're doing that, so everybody's trying to do something crazier and crazier to get a wow out of somebody. It's kind of hard to diffuse that when the culture out there is promoting it. Like here, like David said, we're in here trying to show people, hey, this is the reality of it, but they can't truly grasp what it looks like. That's why you got people coming to prison killing themselves, these young kids, because they're out there moving so fast, everything's so at the tip of their fingers, and then you come in here to this stone age, to this prison, and their mind is blown. And that's what, like David said, we started a youth development program called GROW, which is Give, Reach Out, Overcome, and Withstand, and we're working with struggling at-risk youth to try to show them, like, hey, take a minute to stop and think about what's good in your life, because I promise you, if you make the wrong choice, and it's a fraction of a second between stimulus and action, to where you have to make a choice. And most people, I know when I was a kid, I couldn't see past my nose, and I didn't have half the distractions that these youngsters got out there now. And so, as far as like getting them not to do that, honestly, it's almost next to impossible, because the culture is so promotional of it. But you can help individuals. You know what I mean? I don't think you could stop the culture, because it's just what it is. But individuals, like we try to do, we say if we can connect with even one of these kids and help them understand that they have a better thing than they will ever have in here, it'll stop and make them say, hey, you know what, man, I don't know if I really want to be doing this, because I thought it might have looked all right, but these dudes look miserable. This place looks miserable.
Hey, you know the crazy part, though, is the media, society, movies, music, they put so much emphasis on describing the crime. Everybody wants to know about the crime, what happened. You know, they want the details, but there's not enough details about the fallout.
Psychological aspect of
the fallout. They show the pain that it has. Why are you showing the criminal? You're showing the mugshot. You're showing everybody what this notorious gang member did, or this,
serial killer.
Yeah, but you're not showing the victims. Show the family. That's what got me in my recovery. The victim impact statement in trial, I saw the person who I had taken out of this world. I saw the pain that I caused his family, his mother. I still remember her words to this day. And that was the catalyst for my change. I would have continued
That's
on
a
my
scary
destructive path.
thing. They don't care now.
Go ahead. You know,
I was gonna say
that's
they
just, we
don't
feel
care
smug
now.
around. No, they don't care. And it's like, man, you know, you got to show the flowers, show the funerals, show the pain, the mother's pain. It was, man, I still think about it. I still think about it. And she's gone. I heard that she told me in my trial that she thinks that she was only alive as long as she was, just to see her son's, the person who took her son's life was brought to justice and convicted, because she had a very rare cancer. And she said that she feels God gave her that closure so she can die in peace. How can I ever forget something like that? I caused that.
And they don't care now because of the values that are being promoted. That's what it is. Everybody's so superficial out there, and the values that are being promoted in the music, in the media, and like it's crazy. I mean, I know I'm in for a culture shock after being gone. You know, when I get out of here, it'll be almost 25 years. I know I'm going to be in for a culture shock. But you're absolutely right. They don't care, and we see it because there's kids that come in here, you know, 20, 18, 19-year-old kids, and I'm sitting here like, man, not to say that my generation was any better, but it's like, man, what's the matter with you, dude? Like, you got water in your brain or what?
You see what's going on in Chicago. You see what's going on all over the place.
Yeah.
People are, man, it's crazy. But no, we appreciate you, HD. Love the accent.
Yeah, where are you calling from? 'Cause you definitely
I got
an
one
accent.
more. Oh, I'm
Go ahead.
South Texas.
Yep, we can hear
South
it.
Texas.
Cool.
South Texas. Where about like Corpus Christi, South or
I used to live in Corpus, but no, I'm up towards San Antonio now.
Okay, that's where my family's from, Corpus Christi. That's why I asked, because we had our family reunion there.
Corpus Christi?
That was Jesse.
The Corpus Christi?
Whatever.
Hey, I got a question though.
Yeah.
Before I leave y'all, did you guys see the guy that ran off to Tijuana?
We heard about it.
Yes, we were talking about it with James earlier.
That's an example, but that's an example of what's in prison. Look, not everybody's like Jesse and I. Not everybody's like us in here. There's some people that probably shouldn't be going home, you know, and fortunately CDCR is trying to find out who those people are. They have a place for them, but that's crazy though. Yeah, it's a crazy world. You know?
What did you think about that when you seen that, HD?
Yep.
It was insane because of how much he got past. And then I was just like,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yep.
is he also getting like what's and then it starts going into what's political, like what happened type of deal, and was it not enough people? I don't know. It just started getting more.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
But
Crazy
I'm gonna let
people,
you
HD.
all go. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for calling in, HD. Appreciate you.
Thank you for calling in.
Great
Thank you
talking
for
to
your
you.
support.
Thank you. Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Shout out to Texas.
Shout out to HD in Texas.
Yep. Hey, James, it's gonna cut off right now. You say you want to do one more call, or you want to wrap it up at this one?
No,
cracking?
call back. I'm trying to get
right.
get Austin on.
We'll give you a call back right now.
Okay, all right. All right. So I got one more phone call. You know, I do appreciate you guys. I'm checking if Austin wants to come on, and man, I think that'll be a cool way to to end the call, if you will. Let me see here. Hey, hello, Joe. Hey, do it through TikTok so I can bring you on.
Esta es Global
This call is
Calling.
now being
Usted
recorded.
tiene una llamada prepagada de
I'll send you an
David
invite.
Lopez.
Un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yep. I'm trying to bring Austin in right now, so hopefully he's able to make it in. So you guys, I'm not sure if you guys talked to him recently, but just get a little follow up on how he's doing with his transition. He just hit the 1 year mark, of coming home.
Yeah.
He came home in March, and it's been popping up on my what do you call it, on my TT feed, like every year, like when it's like 1 year anniversary, it'll remind you. So yep.
It's crazy. Can't believe it's been that long already.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like that.
No.
One year from now, let's just hope that's my anniversary. That'll be my anniversary day.
Yep. I'm gonna be right here all depressed, like happy. That's gonna be bittersweet though to watch my boy leave this place, where it's like, man, I want Jesse to get out of this freaking place, man. Escape this nightmare. He's done everything that he can. He's gonna be very successful out there. And then I gotta just push on forward. I get to watch a lot of my boys leave, and it's gonna be. I'm happy to see them go. It's kind of crazy. Then I have to kind of like look around. Yeah.
Like who's here?
I gotta. Once they leave, I look at them. Talk to them, and then I gotta like turn back around and be like, damn, all right, let's keep pushing forward. Now it's gotta be me.
Yep. My time will come.
Yeah.
Good thing is you're not far behind, and it's a little different. Like when you have. I feel like, and we've had a lot of boys leave and go home, but I feel like it's different. Like this way, like I feel like there's no way I cannot remember like how when Blue got out, he made sure he sent us a bunch of pictures and a bunch of stuff. Like he wanted us to know and see what it is. So I feel like for us, plus I'm essentially going to be paving the road for you to come out. I'm going to be preparing everything because we're going to be working and living in the same area. We're going to be doing like it's not like when we leave here that. With a lot of guys, sometimes it is that way, but for us, because we're actually we're going to be working in the same company. We got a lot of the same stuff together that
my boy Randy, right? So I would get out, right? I would get out, James. And remember Randy? He's the one that I was. He was my crimey over there when we got busted in Mexico. So I get out and I show up to my mom's house. They gave us no plan before. I'm coming straight out of the shoe. Nothing, man. Like I've been down the whole time. The shoe is the hole, and I would get out, show up to my mom's house. She'd be like, all right, well, you can't stay here, obviously, and I'll be like, yeah. But it's never good to hear, but it's just the reality of it. I get out. I don't have no plans. I had no tablets. I had nothing. I had no prospects, no education, no nothing. Coming straight out of the hole, so I couldn't even talk to anybody to arrange anything. Hey. So I show up. at Randy's house. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure. So we got Blue. Can you hear us, Blue?
I can hear you.
Blue.
Okay.
Me.
What's up, Blue?
What's up, doggy?
Oh, what's up?
Boy?
Hey.
Hey,
Jesse, I forgot to tell you something. I didn't realize at the time, right? The last day I seen you guys, exactly a year to that was when we had dinner at the Applebee's or wherever it was at.
That was the year mark.
The next day was the year I was out. So that day was the last day I seen you guys at Yard. What a trip, huh?
Yeah. When we got ourselves sick eating zingers and cookies and
all the chocolate, remember?
Everybody got sick eating a bunch of sugar. Yeah, that's tight. I didn't even realize that. You've been over.
I know. To bring you in what I was talking about. Jesse's wife was out here, and I brought the baby and my wife. We all had dinner together, but that was the year, the date that I last seen Jesse and David on the Yard.
Hey Joe, are you using like a headphone or something? Because your audio it's cutting out in and out a bit.
Oh man, I'm not. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me go to a room where it's all quiet. See if it gets better.
Okay, or maybe like try holding the phone a little bit closer. Maybe that'll fix up the audio a bit. So for anybody.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, but it seems like it's like it'll like at the beginning it's kind of low, and then it'll get a little bit higher towards like a half a second after.
Let me start off loud and then go lower.
There you go. There
Hey
you
Joe,
go.
I don't
Yep.
know.
so can you introduce yourself to our audience, because a lot we got a bunch of new viewers. You hear from the U.S., from the U.K., from Australia, New Zealand, and Europe and whatnot that might not be
We
familiar
got
with you.
this. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Jesse and David and a bunch of the guys over there. I did a lot of time with them. I'm home now. I came home a year ago, and pretty much that's it. I am them 1 year ago. I was calling games. We would do the interviews. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But I've been out a year, and life is good, and I'm happy with it, you know. And I'm just waiting for Jesse and them to get out and continue living. You know, I made beautiful relationships in there, beautiful friendships, and those are for life to me. You know.
How old were you when you got arrested, and how long were you in prison?
27 years, and I got arrested at 17. And I heard the caller. I got arrested at 17. I got out at 45. I heard the caller from Texas, from South Texas, and I think she's right. Like other states are they're becoming what we were in the 90s, you know, and they're not there yet. When I heard her, I thought she was talking from California. I think
Esta
California's evolved a
llamada y
lot.
su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I think California's evolved a lot. I think it's definitely not the same out here like it used to be. Except on TikTok. On TikTok, yeah, it's a trip. TikTok's a trip, you know. But I could see other states and definitely Chicago, and I think every state has to go through their thing on their own because you're only gonna know what's going on around you, you know. So everyone gets to see what's going on over here in the 90s. Everyone got to see us throw our lives away, right? So, like, I have friends that went to the military after this. I have friends that became cops, officers. They see me get the life sentence, they didn't want it, right? So, you know, it's sad to say, but when you put your hand in the stove, people got to see that for them not to do that, you know? And I think they're on a path like that, and we're on like a recovery path, you know? We're on a rehabilitative trip in California, at least, you know.
You know,
Progression. It's called progression. We're on a progressive trip over here.
life after the gang.
Yeah,
Well, it
life
has
after
to.
the hurt, you know,
It has to.
after the pain.
Yeah.
Yep, because something had to give, because over here was so much madness. But the reality of it is a lot of people are trying to leave California. They feel like California's going to crap too.
Yeah, but for other reasons.
I know.
For other reasons.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
Economic reasons. Economic reasons.
Hey, the crazy part, man, about this, the whole deal, right? It's like, look, the guys who started, like you and Jesse, you guys came in. Well, you guys both committed your crime at 17, you know. And, you know, I came in the system as a young man. I was in the juvenile system. But we didn't really believe in ourselves. Like, we didn't understand what our potential was. We just kind of got into a one-track mind, and we seen what it was. You know, we can thrive within the gang world and stuff like that. But the crazy is all the guys that are out there like you, Blue, and some of the fellas that have gotten out after doing decades, you guys are freaking thriving, man. You guys are buying homes. You guys are taking care of your families, working, being positive role models. You guys are doing such amazing things, man. And that's what makes me hurt for these kids more, because those kids have every opportunity like you guys, you know, like us. And they're going to walk down a
bro.
dark path before they discover
It's a
that.
mindset, though. It's a mindset, right? So when I was out, I'm sure Jesse and you, I mean, I'm sure both of you thought the same way. Like, I'm not working at McDonald's. I'm not working over there. Like, that's a lame job, right? So my mind will be like, I'll get my money in the streets because I found it was more appealing. I found it was like what a man does, right? Those were my thoughts and my belief system. Now the belief system is like a man works. A man will go out there and work 9 to 5 like any other man and take care of his family. So
Esta
when you
llamada
start
y su
thinking,
número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
when you
Yep.
start thinking correctly, you start living correctly, and that's the success you're talking about or the achievements we're getting is because our mindset changed, right? I know an 18-year-old kid out
Yep.
here. That little kid got two Beamers, bro. And I'm around some other little
Damn.
kids. They're all Beamer, Mercedes. Their mind is in the right place, right? They're working. One of them's working two jobs, right? Um, they
Yeah.
got the right mindset. It's like, I need to work. So their uncles and their dads and maybe the males in their life, they did a much better job with them, you know? And as a whole, that's how I see it out here. The little kids are it's a different trip. It's not gonna be the same world you left. These little guys, they're thinking with a much better brain than what we had, you know?
That's cool though. It's all about the environment. Depending on the environment, a lot of the people in our old environments are still thinking the same way. It's just all about, like
Yes.
you said, the role models they have in their life. If they got the right kind of role models, they're directing them in the right path.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see a lot of stuff on TikTok. You see a lot of promotion, a lot of like that. But I mean, that is what it is, and I think everyone knows that's just for promotion. We would have never
That's
been
not
on
reality.
TikTok. I would have never been on TikTok talking about my lifestyle because I'm living that lifestyle, right? So when you see it, I think everybody kind of knows, like, oh, that's just promotion, that's just for show, And I'm not saying they're saying nothing bad, but like they are. They go up there and they dress up. And I'm like, these fools are crazy, but that's not the lifestyle they're living. That's just like
Yep.
a character, a makeup. They're putting makeup on for likes.
No, but see, the reality of it is, at our age, we know that's not a reality, though. But you promote that in front of some 16, 17, 18, and even 21-year-old kids, and they don't know that that's not a reality until they're sitting in jail trying to fulfill that persona, or trying to, exemplify that projection that they're seeing on there, And that's where
Yeah, I get
the
it, but
marketing scandal comes in.
they got a term out here, Jesse. They got a term out here. They call them goofies, right? And I think everybody
Yeah,
knows. I think everybody knows when they see a video like that, they're like, "Oh, them are goofies,"
Yeah, them with the game goofy.
It's the same, though. I do
Yeah, that's
get
the
it,
game
and I
goofy.
understand it, and I agree with you. But I'm saying, if I could show you some of these videos, I think the little kid, a 16-year-old kid, will be like, "Man, I'll eat that fool alive in here." It's a video about another 16-year-old kid, but they're not the same,
Yeah.
But it is a lot of promotion. A lot of people like dress up. They'll put on their they'll put on. I'm not gonna say what kind of clothes they'll put on, but they'll put on their stuff, and they'll make like a little skit in the video, and then they'll put on like a hairnet, and I think a little kid will be like, "Man, that fool's a goofy," Yeah, but they do it.
Hey,
They
but how's
do it
that-
like They do it for likes, or and you can't knock nobody's hustle. They're at the end of the day, they're trying to get 1 million views to put some money, some food in their mouth too.
Yeah. But it's the reality.
Yeah.
What is it, boy? How far are they willing to go for that? Though that's where the problem might lie sometimes. Like, how far are you willing to go for that like? Because we've seen all kinds of crazy stuff on Al Extremo and Alarma TV, like things that people are doing, just like, man, all that for a like, huh? Well, we ain't got to worry about that like anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's up, though? How's everything else going, though, with you, man? What you got going on this weekend?
My baby. Oh, yeah. I had a baby. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody listening right now is like, what I mean? We're old men, Jesse. We're old men, but I had a baby, and the baby's good, and he's growing fast, and he's getting big, boy. He's getting real big quick.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Hey, Jesse, say
Mostly
something
everything
about
about my
already.
life is,
Yeah,
yeah, it's him. He's
I was telling the homies last week at CGA, I said, Blue's kid, he's only 4 months old, 5 months old, but he's like the size of a toddler.
Hey, I think Jesse, I think we're gonna let him see you.
All right. Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
That way he
It's
can
gonna
see
cut off
where he
my
came
nose.
from,
It's gonna cut off- Yeah, we can see where he was consummated. Hey, James, you got to go, James?
Nah, hey, call back. We'll run one more. We're gonna do the encore, if you will.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Blue, if you could do me a favor, if you got a headset, if you could throw it on, I think it'll sound better if you have a headset.
Let me look, cause I know I do, but I know the one I got is dead. The battery's dead. Hold on, let me look real quick.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right, guys. So like I said, I mentioned earlier on, I haven't done this in some time as far as taking phone calls or having any interaction from from you guys. So this is something that I do plan to do, going forward. So definitely be on the lookout.
Esta es Global
This
Telling.
call is now being
Usted tiene
recorded.
una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello. So I want to say something before you guys start up. So for anybody that's in the audience that wants to know David, Jesse's, or Austin's backstory, I would suggest for you guys to go over to our other platform, which would be at Collect Call From. It would be YT, which would be that logo, the red logo with the white little triangle. And if you go over there, go to playlist, look up Jesse Nava, look up David Lopez, and Austin. He would be under Joe, and you could get their whole backstory. As far as their earliest memory as a child, up into where they were at. With obviously Jesse and David, up into their where they're at right now in prison. For Austin or Joe, you guys would follow him maybe for like the first 3 or 4 months of him coming home. I did capture him getting off that prison bus. And then we followed him throughout that day of him getting released. And then I followed up with him a few other times, going back to meeting up with him at his transitional home when he did eventually come home. And then hopefully, we'll be doing a 1-year anniversary in-person interview. Man, it was touching. That I could tell you that. When he walked off that bus, it was very emotional. Prior to him being incarcerated, I didn't know him. I met him during the last few months of his incarceration, and he definitely shared a lot of good information as far as why he did what he did, what landed him in prison, and he had a good plan when he came home, and he's doing great things now that he's home. So shout out to Joe, Jesse, and David.
That's right, thank you. Yep. We can't wait. Blue paved the road. He went out there to go.
Trailblazer.
He's a trailblazer. Yep. We got to get out there. We just waiting for our time to get here so we can follow suit. We had a.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it, for those who don't know, is we got a friend who actually we met when we started this channel, who actually created an opportunity for who gave Blue an awesome job, and he's got a job waiting for all of us. For Dave and I when we get there, and just something to help put us so that we can plant our feet in the pavement and provide for our families. And so that's how this channel has been very fruitful for us. It's been awesome.
That's cool, man. I still think about that lizard.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Chupi, we need an update on Chupi, Joe. Whatever happened to Chupi?
Yeah, Chupi went with the mama. Chupi went with his mama, and I haven't heard from him since. Chupi's on steroids now.
By now.
Hey,
Probably the size of an iguana, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a crocodile.
Hey, and for anybody that's wondering, what a Chupi is, so when Austin when he was still in prison, he had a little lizard, and he actually brought we did a video visit one day, and he brought the lizard with him, and then when he came home, he brought the lizard with him in his belongings.
I broke the lizard out. Yep. I didn't bring him. I broke him out of prison.
His interview, his interview, it has the lizard just kicking back on his shirt, just chilling, just getting some rays, catching some rays. Oh man, it's funny because there's guys in here that really they love their lizards. They go out there, they hunt crickets, and man, they'll live. The lizard will live out its entire life with these people. And what is his name? Choopy? Choopy's one of them.
Choopy did his sermon was broken out with
Yep.
You went to TJ. He's in TJ right now, running for the marshals.
Yeah, he's running for the marshals. He's on the run.
Yeah, crazy man. Nah, it's cool, man. We miss you over here, Blue. We talk about you a lot, man.
Yeah, I was just talking about last week.
Yeah,
I was telling these guys I was telling these. Hey, last week we did a meeting on the attitude of gratitude, and I was telling these guys, I said, look, my boy was telling me the other day that every day, all the time, he asks himself, like, man, when is the nostalgia going to wear off of me being here? I've been out here almost a year, and still every day is an exciting day. Every day there's something that I'm grateful for, and I was explaining that to these guys, like, we have to start to create that synergy of attitude of gratitude for ourselves, even in here, because we got so much more to look forward to out there. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we got to focus on what we do have. And I used you as an example. That's what I was telling about your son. And about how he's just a pup, yet he's like a little toddler. And I was telling him, man, look at the homie. He's been out there a year, and he's still every day grateful for something new. He's still excited about getting out, like if it's his first day.
Yeah, bro. And Richard had asked me, what are you doing? What are you doing, or this and that, right? And I just told him I still go to group, bro. I still go to group, and I work, and I go, but mostly everything is a mindset. So every day, and if it's not every day, I know it's not every day, Jesse David, right? But it feels like it.
Yep.
It feels like every day I give money away to homeless people, bro, or to somebody, right? Like there was a lady that I gave him two examples. For Easter, not Easter, but Easter's coming up, so some lady was out there doing flowers, and she was like, "Hey, we're just trying to get some groceries," and she was giving flowers away or trying to trade them, and I was like, "Nah, I don't need anything." I came out and I gave her half of what I got, like the groceries, and then I told him that, and I told him there was some lady with a there are always signs, but this sign said something like, anything helps, and it really hit. And when you're coming off the freeway, you might not have time to give, right? So when I seen her sign, I was like, damn, and it was a car in front of me. And then I stay with change in the where you put change in the car, people put their smokes or whatever. I stay with quarters and dimes, nickels, pennies, right?
Yep.
And I grabbed it, and the light turned green, and I was like, dang, I can't give it to her because I got all this traffic behind me. So I left, and lo and behold, God put me in the same intersection later on that day, and I was the car in the front, So I rolled down the window, and I gave her, I don't know how much money. It's not a lot, probably like $3, $4, $5 and change. And I was like, hey, I tried to give you this earlier, but I couldn't. But here it is. We double back, and I do stuff like that all the time, bro. And I don't do it. I don't do it for no reason, bro. I just do it because I think that's what you're supposed to do. That these people need a helping hand, and a lot of people don't. You can see the same person out there get nothing, and like you said, I'm fortunate, I got money coming in, I got a life I'm grateful for, I know what it's like to have nothing, so those type of gestures or those type of activities I do them on the daily, and like I said, there might be a day where I don't do it or 2 days that I don't do it, but for a week, like half of the week is done like that, and that's been like that ever since I got out,
That's how you lay your blessings for yourself.
That was the same way about the chocolate we were talking about, the day. That was your last day, huh? With the chocolate? That was your last day in here.
With the chocolate, yeah.
Is that Jess? That was your last day.
We
I remember.
Giving money to homeless people.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the chocolate still?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I'm still thinking about the
You
chocolate.
hear that,
They
James?
want to know if you got a zinger for them.
Yeah. Hey,
They want to know where's the zinger.
hey, I understand they're going through what they're going through out there, you know what I mean? But you still got any of them zingers?
I know them homeless
You know-
people are hungry, but so am I.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is my wife. My wife, when I first came home, she seen me do that, and she had like this look on her face, like what are you doing? Like nervousness, you know? And she's like, some homeless people will tell you off if you give them the wrong amount that they're not expecting. And I'm like, shit, let some homeless person tell me that I'll chew them out, you know. But everyone I've been given to, they've always been very grateful, bro. And I just think it's just how you come across, you know, because I give them daps, you know. When I'm giving money, I'll be like, all right, fool, have a good one, you know. So they see me and they probably don't see what a normal American is, you know. They're probably like, what's this fool on, you know? Yeah, I introduce myself, I shake hands, I do all that, bro.
Hey, they're like, hey, he's way too happy to be in the presence of some licensed flesh and flea bag. You know what? Good looking out, dog. Hey, he gives them a good vibe. They're like, I'm feeling good today. I'm gonna go out and get a job.
Hey, that's all I need right there. That's all I needed.
Sometimes I leave them. Sometimes they think like, oh, this fool was homeless before, you know. That's how I feel sometimes. Yeah, like there was one time I was walking out of a Target. And there was some black dude, bigger, heavyset fool. You know, he's eating, you know, but he's doing bad. And he said something when I walked in. I was like, when I come out, fool, I got you. And then I came out. And before I gave him anything, I was like, hey, what's your name? And I introduced myself. We talked, gave him it. And he was just like, all right. And I was like, all right, fool, you have a good one. He was like, all right, you know. So I just keep it normal. I don't like I'm talking to a person, so I treat you like a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they know you're not looking down your nose at them.
Attitude of gratitude right there. Yeah. Giving back to the world right there. That's what it is. A very definition of it. You know?
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Hey,
you're always an inspiration for us.
Just to give you a heads up, we got about 4 minutes before we get that announcement. So anything you guys want to touch on before we part ways, this will probably be the best time to do it.
Yep. Was there any last minute comments or questions that they have for us real quick, James, before we say our goodbyes?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Adam writes, yes, love to hear positive stuff after they get out. Yes, it's emotional. This is brilliant.
It is.
James, let me see. I love it. Let me see. Oh, they get conjugal visits over there? Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's how I have my baby boy. My baby boy coming out of prison.
Yep. I got one in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Count it down.
But we didn't always do conjugal visits. We barely got those things.
Yep. Yeah, we barely got them. We didn't have them. Those of us with life sentences barely got them back. Yep.
That's it, though, James.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, I could keep on scrolling. I'll probably find something, but yeah. Man, my apologies if I didn't get to your questions, man. You know, I do try to read these messages and comments as they come in, but you know, sometimes it's a bit difficult. But I just want to let you know that I tried, and I appreciate you guys.
That's right.
27 years I was in for.
27 years. Yep, 27 years.
No, because I think someone asked that on the comments right now. I'm trying to read too right now.
Hey, somebody wants to know what was the lizard in for?
The lizard was in. No, he had 2 assault charges on officers, and they put Geico away.
Yep, the killing of crickets.
Yeah, he didn't follow through on his word with saving $300. What is that?
Yeah.
$300 by switching to Geico. Yeah, switching to Geico. Turned out it was a fraud scandal. Yeah, it was a Geico Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Nah, but hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. Everybody across the pond, everybody in all the different states, man. It's awesome to think that we can actually be sitting here in a cell in California State Prison, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and reach out to so many different states, so many different people, so many different places, even across, the all through the world. We've had people from all over the world on here, and it's awesome. Yep. So I thank you guys for tuning in and taking the time to sit here and listen and spend time with us and help us, basically step out of this place for a little bit. When we're on here with you guys, we're essentially not here. You know, we're in a different headspace, and so that's awesome.
Yeah.
I thank you guys for that. It was awesome to be able to talk to my boy Blue. Thanks for coming on, Blue. HD for calling. Thank you for calling. Everybody else, SoCal Fish Slayer, Iceman, all the regulars. Anybody hears this later on,
Southside
Chubby
BK.
Jessica. Southside BK. Good looking out on the love you sent our way. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Everybody else, thank you for being here. All our loved ones.
Yep.
You want to say anything, Dave?
South Texas, Australia, Minnesota. You guys came on. You guys represented.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
You guys.
I love you
came
guys,
strong
bro.
today, man. Yep.
You guys have a good one.
Love you
We'll
too,
talk to
guys soon.
For
Yep.
sure.
You too. Shout out to my wife and man. Remember, anybody that wants to connect with us, you guys could always ask James how to connect with us on the GTL tablets.
Yep.
And
sure.
we always love talking with you guys and sharing your support. Thank you guys.
Yep.
All right, James.
Yep.
Thanks again, bro. Talk to you later.
All right, James. Thanks for being here, bro. Hit us up whenever. You already know.
Hey, for sure. Hey, and Mercedes says sending love from San Antonio, Texas. Hey, and with that being said,
Texas.
hey, I am Collect Call James. You guys are watching. You have a Collect Call from, and like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it slices out. And with that, we're out. Rato.
I'm not sure she said it quite like that, James. All right, late.
Hey, all right, for sure. Hey, thank you, Joe. And for anybody that wants,
bro.
for anybody that wants to see Joe's release video, check out my other account. It's in the comments. That his release video has 1.5 million views, if you will. It helped me get the first 1,000 subscribers on TikTok. So shout out to Joe. Appreciate his time. Him coming on and sharing a little bit of what's going on with him. A small little update, but we are gonna be doing the 1-year anniversary update sometime soon. All right.
Coming up soon, yeah.
Yep. All right.
All right, bro. Talk to you later.
All right, for sure. Everybody, hey, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys later. I'll be on some court hearings later on in the evening, so be on the lookout. I'm not sure what time, but I'll be back, if you will. And with that being said, I'm out.